Yeah, so as I said, I'll talk to you about the campuses, what makes Notre Dame different, the fees and scholarships, programs, and the admissions process that we have. So if you guys weren't aware, we have campuses in Perth, in Fremantle, Western Australia, and also Sydney, New South Wales. We also have a campus in the northwest in a place called Broome. Um, so the campus in Perth has the courses such as nursing, education, business. It also has a health sciences school, which isn't offered at our Sydney campus, and also has medicine as well. At Sydney, we have all the same courses, just doesn't have the School of Health Sciences. So that's a difference between the two campuses. They're both what we call city and town universities. So the Fremantle campus, if you haven't seen it before, it's in the town of Fremantle, so it's all in the west end of Perth, of Fremantle, and around there is lots of shops, cafes, other businesses, restaurants, a whole little atmosphere happening by itself. So the university really feeds into the town of Fremantle. It's very close by to the beach as well, so it creates a really good atmosphere for students to really enjoy their time studying with us. And then in Sydney, the campus is a bit different. So here's the sort of the picture of the Perth campus over an overview, as you can see on this screen here. So all the purple buildings that we have there are the Fremantle campus in Perth. And as you can see on those sort of arrows there, it's about a 30-minute train ride to Perth city centre. The bus and train station is about a 5-minute walk from the campus there in Fremantle. And as you can see, the beach and all the other shops and cafes are very close by. So yeah, it's a really, really good campus to come and study at, I would say. It's where I'm located right now. You can sort of see the buildings behind us are quite old. So they're quite a sort of a heritage sort of area, this part of Perth. So the campus is a sort of a very unique looking campus, being that it's a town across the whole town, not just in sort of one big sort of traditional style campus. But inside the buildings are all quite modern facilities. So we have modern laboratories in the nursing, for example, in health sciences, physiotherapy, all quite modern laboratories that we have in the campus. So quite cool and very picturesque itself. Then for the Sydney campus, we have a split campus layout. So Sydney campus, we have the Broadway site, which is down here at the bottom left, and the Darlinghurst site, which is in the centre. So the Darlinghurst site has the nursing and medical school located there, and that's where the majority of our international students are studying nursing in Sydney. So a lot of them are located there. And then over at the Broadway site, we have the things like the School of Business, the School of Education, the School of Arts and Sciences, and also the School of Law as well. So split campus, but students will normally spend most of their time at one campus. So if we have nursing students, for example, they'll be at Darlinghurst the majority of the time. And if they're at Broadway doing something like business or education, they'll be located there most of the time as well. So it's not like you'll have to go between the two campuses very often. But they're both sort of stacked full of resources and facilities for the students as well. So what makes Notre Dame quite unique or different for student experience, I guess, is that we come out number one in quite a few different of the what they call the Australian Government's Quality Indicators of Learning and Teaching survey. And so we come out number one for the graduate employment rate, which is quite a good aspect that our students are getting employment once they finish. Also, as you can see here, things like student satisfaction, skills development, learner engagement and skills scale. These are all great things that we come out quite highly in. And one of the reasons this comes from is from our small class sizes. So Notre Dame purposely limits the number of, my PowerPoint decided working, limits the number of students in a class. And so it's really good that the students will get a chance to get to know their lecturers and their academics, and also they get a chance to ask questions and really get to know a lot about their their subject matter, I guess, and they won't feel too overwhelmed. So most lectures you will find we have a cap of 60 students. Tutorials have a cap of 15 students, and the laboratory classes will have a cap of about 15 students as well. So that's a really good aspect that a lot of the students like, because they don't feel too overwhelmed, I guess, and sort of get a lot more support from their academic staff members. What I was talking about earlier was the small class sizes, and then we also have our internship, what we call real world experience. So every student that we have at the university who's doing one of our bachelor courses at least will have a internship or a real world experience in their degree. And so you'll see here some of the hours between the different courses. So as you can see with nursing, it's one of the most hours out of any nursing course in Australia. And the way that course works is that every semester the students will go on a 5-week internship at a hospital, and that's for every semester throughout their degree. So they go and be that student nurse at the hospital and do that. So yeah, that's really cool. Teaching as well, they do up to 32 weeks. So that's they do almost a full school year almost in that 4-year degree they do. So it's 32 weeks throughout the degree. So with the course here in Perth, it's for teaching, it's going to be 2 weeks in the first year, and then 10, 10, 10 in years 2, 3, and 4. So it's overall totals 32 weeks internship throughout the whole degree. So in Australia, a school term is 10 weeks in length. And so in years 2, 3, and 4, the students are doing at least 3 times school terms. So they're doing a lot of experience in the classroom, leading the students here. 5 weeks block in the end point of the semester. So basically it's 8 weeks of theory, 2 weeks of exams, and then 5 weeks of internship. So that's the 15-week semester that most universities do. For nursing, for us, it's split up in 8 weeks theory, 2 weeks exams, and 5 weeks internship. So that's how that number of hours comes from the 5 weeks each semester that the students do. It's all found for them. So the university places the students in those hospitals or in those schools or in those workplaces, whichever the students are doing. And so they don't need to sort of call around and look for themselves. It's all found for the students by the practical support teams. No, it's more about 4 days. So I think for nursing, it's probably roughly about 16 to 18 hours contact hours in a week. Yeah. So as I say, we pride ourselves on having the most, or if not equal most, internship hours in all of our courses, really, because we feel that's the best way that students will learn and a good way for them to make connections for future employment. So yeah, that's one of the reasons we have so much hours. Then in terms of scholarships, talk to you about the different scholarships we have for students. So we have the first one on the left, you can see there, the 25% off all undergraduate programs. And so that's for all programs undergraduate except Bachelor of Nursing. And the way students get this is they just have to meet the academic requirements and the English requirements. So basically just meet the requirements to get into the course, and then they'll be given this scholarship. And it's guaranteed for the whole course, for every semester, and it's available to all international students. So that one's the 25% discount every single term, yes, for all courses. So it just depends on which course they're doing. So again, it depends which program they're applying for, but as long as they meet the minimum entry requirements, whichever's listed on our website for that particular country and that particular education system, then they'll get it. And it's not like they have to maintain a GPA throughout the course. They just have to meet the entry requirements to get the scholarship. No, not anymore. So we did have one a few years ago, which was just the first year, but we've changed now to have these continuing scholarships that go out through all the semesters. Throughout all the years, yes. But these are what we offer the students, definitely. So I know this for a fact. Maybe he got it wrong. Who knows? And you can see in the right there's the postgraduate one. So for all postgraduate courses, so Master of Teaching, Master of Counselling, for example, all of these courses are a 20% discount off each year's fee, except for Doctor of Medicine and graduate certificate programs. So they're those ones. So for example, let's go through a few examples here. So nursing, it goes down from 36 to 29, 359. You can see physio goes down by quite a lot. Biomedical goes down by quite a lot. arts, education. For business, it actually goes down by $10,000. So that's quite a good discount. I guess I think business gets the most discount. So it's $10,000 off the annual fee for the whole course. Then again, with some postgraduate courses with a 20%, the fees go down as written here. So yeah, you can see. So yeah, moving on to the courses that we do offer, just seeing if you were wondering what we have. So we have all those areas. So starting off with sort of the School of Arts, your more humanities areas. This here is Bachelor of Arts is the main course that we have. And then there's some more specialist degrees here you can see underneath the Bachelor of Arts. These are all the major areas we offer in arts. So if you find that you have students that want to do your more humanities style courses or things like psychology or counseling, the arts area is the one for them. At a postgraduate level, I guess the most popular course here is the Master of Counseling, 2-year course. Yeah, we get quite a lot of students wanting to do this course. It's offered at both the Perth and the Sydney campus for all students. So it's a very popular course. Architecture we have, but it's sort of more of a niche course that's not widely popular, I guess, only for students that want to do that. So yeah, that's a course that we have there. Into the School of Business and Law. Obviously, the main courses we have here are the Bachelor of Commerce and the Bachelor of Law. So the Bachelor of Law is a 4-year course. It's not recognized outside Australia, our course, that for example. So if students did want to do that, they would most likely be looking to practice law in Australia, not overseas, because it's not yet accredited with sort of other countries' legal councils as of yet. And then you can see the Bachelor of Commerce is the main course here with some of the other specialist degrees. These are your commerce major areas, so students can study in these particular areas. In business or accounting, very popular, finance, economics, management. These are all your most popular courses in the business field. I'll just touch on law again. So as I was saying, it's a 4-year course, which is accredited in Australia and has the embedded honours degree as well. But like I was saying, we're yet to have this recognised sort of automatically outside of Australia. So students, if they did our course, they would have to go to the legal practice board of their home country and ask for a qualification assessment. So that's just something to be aware of at this point. Then at postgraduate course, we have Master of Laws again, which does have this option of an internship in another country, Master of Leadership, and also the Master of Business Administration as well, which is a 2-year course, which doesn't request any work experience. So students can go straight from bachelor degree into this and not have to have like 5 years work experience in certain jobs that some universities recognize. We say no work experience and you can do this course. So yeah, quite good. In the health area, I guess you may have seen before, the main area here is the Bachelor of Nursing, or the nursing school is the most popular area we have. We also have things like biomedical science, which is used as the popular way to get into the Doctor of Medicine. We have sport and exercise science as well, health promotion. For us, the medicine course is a postgraduate course, and I'll talk about that on the next slides as well. But students will often do biomedical science as their precursor degree to get into the Doctor of Medicine. So yeah, that's usually done as the degree, you know, to get into that course. So yeah, but as I'll show you, so Doctor of Medicine, it works this way. So you have to have a minimum 3-year undergraduate degree, 5.2 or higher, your GPA. So we calculate the GPA for a student. So for example, if they did biomedical science, you know, they could get a good GPA. We'd calculate that. And then they do a test, the GAMSTAT or MCAT test, interview, and then they'll get into medicine. So that's sort of how the course works as such. Yeah, so that's why people would choose biomedical science with us, because they'll do that as their undergraduate and then go forward from there. Yeah, it's considered a master's program, I guess, but it is the MD qualification. Yeah, so on grad, so they get all of that, so they can register with the AMA and the APRA as well. Of course, students have to do that 1 year intern year, as they call it, after the course, that all medical students have to do in Australia, to get their full registration. But not necessarily. Students can study, can afterwards go to any area in the country. But it's the fact that all Australian medical graduates, when they graduate, they have to be attached to a hospital for at least 1 year to get the full registration. That's what they call their intern year. Basically, the way all medical programs work in Australia is you do your course as such, the 4 years. So for us, it's the 2 years preclinical and the 2 years clinical. And then you then have to obviously graduate, you get your provisional registration, and you have to be attached to a hospital for 1 year to sort of, I guess, prove or do your on-the-job training as such to get the full registration with APRA and AMA. So it's the same for all universities in Australia, but normally that's a formality for most students. Once they've gone through a 4-year course like this, they should be totally fine. They are, yeah. So they're the only one that's really doing something different. Everybody else is 3+4, but they're going for that 6-year bachelor MBBS, as they call it. So it's just a bit different. I guess the difference is different types of students. So obviously with the with the Curtin one, you'll be doing it from like 18 years of age straight away from high school going into their course. Whereas with this 3+4 pathway, you're a bit more mature going in to do medicine. You're more 22, 21. So I guess it's just different. Just a different way that other universities do it. But yeah, Curtin's the only one that has that 6-year course, and they've not had any graduates yet from that school, so we don't know what their quality is yet. I'm sure it'll be fine, but they've never had any graduation classes, so I guess we'll wait and see how that goes. But yeah, every uni has a different way, I guess, but most of them have the 3+4 at the moment that I know of. Yeah. 5 and Fremantle. Yeah, that's right. That's just for the international seats, I guess. So overall, in each campus, there's 100 places overall in Perth and 100 places overall in Sydney. But we just get a better percentage of international students in Sydney. It does go pretty quick. It's quite a long process though, because we have to do all the assessments of the applications, and then we have to do the interviews, which sort of take a while because it's this MMI format, what they call the multi-mini interviews. But obviously, usually they fill, but each year they give us more international places. So I think last year we only had 15 places in Sydney, and they bumped it up to 26. And in Perth, this is actually the first year we're having international places in our Perth campus for medicine. So they're all bachelor from Australia and overseas. So it doesn't matter if they've studied in India, in USA, Canada, wherever. As far as I'm aware, no, they don't. It's a long process, so you can talk to me all the time about it.
Sure.
So moving on to teaching, I guess we have the main areas here. So your early childhood, your primary and your secondary, and then the health and physical education specialist courses. These are all 4-year bachelor courses that we have. And then at postgraduate, we have the Master of Teaching Primary and Master of Teaching Secondary. So these are your graduate entry courses, which are, if you have a bachelor's course, you can do these Master of Teaching courses at the university if you find people that want to do education. And so what makes the teaching course really good, I guess, as I've mentioned, it's the practical time. So in the bachelor's 32 weeks, actually in the master's course there's only 20 weeks, but that's 10 weeks in the first year and 10 weeks in the second year. So again, it's quite comprehensive for a postgraduate teaching course, having the 20 weeks. So quite popular. In the Sydney campus, we also have this additional thing the students can do, which is the International Baccalaureate. They can do an extra few courses in their degree, which then gives them the ability to teach in those types of schools, in IB schools around the world. So those types of international schools that have the IB, are quite prominent around the world. So if students are looking to go back to their home country to teach, doing this IB pathway could also be quite good for them, because they can teach at international schools in their home country. Because obviously the curriculum that you learn in this course is the Australian curriculum. So you can also add that into your area too. And also because Notre Dame's Catholic University, you have the ability to teach in Catholic schools, government schools, and independent schools as well. So our teaching courses give students more of a broad range of schools that they're allowed to teach in, because they can get the different accreditations for each sector. So yeah, pretty good course if people are interested in being teachers. In research, I guess we have the usual research degrees here. So PhD, Master of Philosophy, and the other types of courses, Masters by Research, etc., etc. The only thing to note here is that we request that students sort of have a understanding of what they want to do in research. If they know what they want to do, it's always preferable before they start reaching out to professors. And the main thing is that, yeah, they'll reach out to the professors, talk to them about what they want to research, and then the research department will try and help the students get that proposal up and running, and then we can see if we can find a suitable person to supervise them. But yeah, research applications do take a bit of time, I must say, to get through, because it has to go through a number of different places, the faculty, the research department, obviously the admissions team here as well. So they can take a bit of a long time, the research courses, to be processed, I suppose, the applications, that is. So yeah, if you do bring a research application to us, just ask for a bit of patience, because so the scholarship we have for research, we have five scholarships to offer, and it's called the International Fee Remission Scholarship. So 5 of those are given out each year, and that's 100% discount from the tuition fee. So basically free. So there's 5 of those to give to international students in any one year. So yeah, but it's very competitive, as you can imagine, because it's completely tuition free scholarship. That a lot of students want to do it. So basically how it works is the students will have to put an expression of interest into the research department, explaining basically what their background is, what they want to do research in. They don't have to have a full thesis at that point or a full research proposal. They just have to have an understanding of what they want to do. Then the research office will try and pair them up or contact them with the person at the university that has the most commonalities with that person's interest. Then they'll meet, and then they'll see if they can come together and can collaborate and can supervise the student. If they can, then the student will be told to make an application to the admissions office. We'll assess it, make the offer hopefully, and then the student can apply at the same time for this International Fee Remission Scholarship. If they can't be supervised, obviously they'll tell them, unfortunately, we don't have the correct person to look after this particular research area. So that's sort of how the research works in a way. And then, yeah, if they're successful for the research scholarship, they're given the full tuition discount. So yeah, it's quite good, I guess, if you're lucky enough to get it. On the website, so on Notre Dame's website, there's a research section, and that has it all listed there about the particular scholarship and this whole step-by-step process for research. So I can share that link with you in the future, so you know where to look. Okay, and then I guess we have this other course here, which is called the Tertiary Pathway Program. This is sort of our pathway program into the university. So for example, if we have an application from a student, and they perhaps don't meet our entry requirements to get into the course, let's say it's business, for example, or nursing, let's just say if their high school grades or their grades don't meet the requirements, we can offer them this 6-month course. And it's basically, if they pass this course, and they'll be able to go into the bachelor course of their choosing. So it's basically a pathway into the bachelor if a student doesn't meet the minimum entry requirements. So this is the course that we have in that regard. Yes, non-award. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's a non-award program which is used as a pathway or a bridging course to get students into the bachelor course of their choosing. For example, if their high school year 12 grades weren't good enough, this is the bridge that they can use to go into that course. Yes, they get one more opportunity. Okay. So if you don't pass the first time, you get one more chance to do it again. For another 6 months, obviously, have to pay again, obviously. You get one more chance to do the course before you run out of chances, I suppose. So this is the structure of the course. Basically, it's quite simple. if you're doing nursing or want to do nursing, for example, you do all the course on the left and that human biology course. If you're not doing nursing or health sciences like business or arts, you'll do all the ones on the left and that bottom communication skills. So that's sort of how the course works. It's pretty standard for most students. Hopefully they should do well. It's very rare that students have to repeat the course because it's quite a yeah. If we have a student in this scenario from you guys, we'll talk to you a case by case about different students. Then moving on, these are some of the pathway partners we have in Perth and beyond. So yeah, there's a few here. If you see Phoenix Academy, for example, they can do English and academic. If they need an English pathway, we have a few others there you can see in the middle as well. So yeah, if you get to a point where we need a student to do, they need to do IELTS or PTE for that one. But for other courses like arts, business, things of that nature, definitely we can. But for the other courses that have a professional accreditation, that you need to provide an English test to get into, like nursing, for example, medicine, physiotherapy, education. Yeah, these ones we can't package. But things like business and arts, we can. These are just some of the things we've got in development. I just thought I'd show you. So as you can see at the top there, our current minimum English requirement is a 6.5 overall, no band less than 6 in IELTS. We're actually going to change that now to 6 overall and no band less than 6. So hopefully that'll be a bit more competitive for students to get that and not have to struggle for the other scores. And also you can see in postgraduate, we did have request a 6.5 in writing before, but now we're just going to say 6.0 overall as well. So we're just trying to make our English. Today is the day it's going to be, I guess, voted on by the executive committee of the university. But I was told that it's pretty much done. So yeah, from I guess next week or from tomorrow, that this is what we'll accept as a minimum standard of English. So we're trying to bring ourselves in line with some of the other universities. I know, for example, Curtin, these these scores here. So we're trying to make ourselves not be too, I guess, an outlier and be too high, I suppose, compared to some other universities. So yeah, this will all be approved by the end of this week. So yeah, that's what we'll take from now on. Some courses do accept OET, some don't, but TOEFL, PTE, IELTS, majority of courses accept. So yeah, all those other tests will fall in line with this IELTS equivalent score. It's just obviously IELTS is the most, but yeah, they'll all fall in line. So all follow a similar equivalent, whatever number that test gives to people with that particular score. So I think it'll be 58 in PTE, I think it is. But yeah. You can just see on below as well some of the new programs we've got in development. So these will be coming in the next year, I suppose. So we'll have a 2-year Master of Physiotherapy. That's a graduate entry. So if students have a physiotherapy degree from back home in India or elsewhere, they can go into this 2-year Masters. And when they graduate, they'll be able to register as an Australian physiotherapist with APRA and the Australian Physiotherapy Association. February 2024. So they, as much as I wanted it to, they couldn't get the facilities and everything ready in time for this February. So they've had to delay it by a year. But 2024, it will be in operation. Everything will be ready for the facilities at the university for that course. So yeah, we'll have to wait a year, but it'll be good when it comes. I think it'll be a very popular course. I think so. I have to confirm all the admission requirements for that course because, like I say, they have still to reveal that to me. But we will start taking applications for this program probably in around, or the network of agents know what the admission requirements are for that once approved. And then you can see some of the other courses we have. So psychology is definitely starting in semester 2. So that's July next year. It's the first time we've had proper Bachelor of Psychology here. The MBA is going to add some new specializations just to make it a bit more current. So things like health management, data analytics, and I'm going to have some more internship opportunities in that course as well. So that hopefully will be interesting. We're looking at IT. IT is not confirmed yet, but I believe it probably will be by the end of this month. So not too long to go now. And that probably will start in the middle of next year as well. So the semester 2, going to start off with the Bachelor of IT. So that would be cool. We've never had IT before as well. Something I've been asking for them to develop for a long time. So we'll see. And then, as you can see, some other courses like social work, Master of Nursing, and Grad Dip in Early Childhood. These are all things that we're looking to bring in, but I don't have concrete dates when they'll be ready. But yeah, just some exciting things happening, I guess, up in the program creation space. And then in terms of the application system, it is done through our website. I will send another PowerPoint after this session, which just is a more of an explanation of how the system works. But our system is not an agent portal as such. It's an online application form. So you can't, it's not like a normal agent portal that some universities have, unfortunately. So our system's a bit old, sadly. But hopefully we can develop a good system in the future. But basically you sign in through the website and go through there. But I'll send you the instructions of how to do that after this. It's a bit boring. I didn't want to take you through it. Postgraduate, so they call it mature age over here, I guess. But yeah, for your postgraduate studies, masters and things like that, the schools like to look at people's career as well and see what they've been doing as well. So yeah, these are the usual things. GTEs is in the application form. There's a GTE section that obviously people fill in, which gives us some responses and understanding of the student's GTE. We do request sort of things like current or pending or cancelled COEs, if available. Obviously, copies of student visas. And if the admissions team do an assessment, they may want to, not all the time, in fact, most of the time they don't, but sometimes they may want to meet with a student if they are a bit uncertain about some of the GTE responses. But we haven't done a GTE interview for quite a while, actually. So it's just there as a thing to say that we may one day out of the blue ask you if we can meet the student, but normally it doesn't happen. Two of our courses, and medicine, I guess. So medicine has an interview component to it. Also, Master of Counseling and Master of Architecture, they both also have an interview component. It's not really, the interview isn't about seeing, I guess it's not a GTE interview. It's all about the course itself. So for architecture and counseling at the master's level, the professors want to meet the students to explain the course to them because they are quite sort of different and unique courses. So it's not like a pass-fail, those things. It's more of a chance for the academic staff to meet with the incoming student for them to explain, this is what the course is going to be like, this is what you're going to learn, this is what the practical parts are going to be. Yeah, so they just prefer to meet with the students. So if you do apply for those courses, we may say the school would like to meet the student. So that's what happens in those courses. Part of the application form, so it's not a separate document you'll have to fill out. It's embedded, I guess, in the form. So as you're naturally filling in the form, you'll get to the GTE part and it will be there. So yeah, it's not anything extra, it's just embedded. So it's quite seamless, I hope, when you're doing it. So famous last words. And then obviously financial capacity to cover the study period, at least for the first year, that might be requested as well, especially for offshore students from some certain countries. Onshore applicants who are in Australia already, this won't be applicable for those people because they're already here. So just for sort of offshore applicants may be asked for financial evidence as well. We want to look at the students' bank statements, at least to show that they can fund the tuition fee, obviously up front, and have enough money to sort of get here and be comfortable. But we're not we admit we're not the government. Okay, we don't have the expertise at that. Look, we just want to be certain that when, and I'm sure obviously you guys are across it as well, but the students know themselves that the government will be asking for these documents. So it's good to get yourself ready, and we just like to see they have enough to look after them. But we're not financial analysts. We don't know all the documents and things like that. So it's just more of a precautionary measure, I guess, that the university likes to take in this space. So yeah, but I wouldn't worry about us looking at the last cent or the last penny and saying that's not right. We're not bank people. We don't know that. We don't know stuff. So it's more just for the government will ask for this. So make sure you have yourself ready. And then basically, as you know, once the application comes through, we'll assess the application. We'll follow up if anything is missing or if we need something else. If it's not, we can make the either full or conditional offer, depending on what the situations with the applicant. And then with the full offer is when the invoice is attached as well. So the invoice will, so it's always like a PTE IELTS test is going to be done. The student's booked in for it in a couple of weeks. So we'll give a conditional offer, based on that results meeting what we need. So that's the most common conditional offer we make. Sometimes it could also be that they haven't provided their final transcript. So they may still be finishing their grade 12. So they still have to submit that final transcript. So that might be one of the things as well. But most things, if we get most documents, conditional offer can be done pretty quickly. For a full offer, we just need the academic to be met, the English to be met, and any other sort of GTE things like finances, for example. Then the full offer can be sent. So yeah, most of the time it's English is the thing that stops the full offer from being issued. Or maybe the student's still not finished their grade 12. So it's a bit of a wait on that. Full offer is issued and the payment is made. Then we'll do the COE and the health cover if the student wants it. And then, yeah, give you the COE and the lodgement can occur. So yeah, there we go. So thank you for listening. Thanks for your patience with me and my technology being a complete disaster. Do you have any other questions you guys would like to know? Anything? This is like a little PowerPoint we just show people. So obviously on the website, you go to the Apply Now button. That takes you to this page. Takes you to this page here. So this is the online application portal or how you log in. And so basically you have to enter an email here. It can be the students if they're with you. It can be your own, counselor email. This is the problem with the system though, and this is what I hate about it, and which a lot of people don't like, is that you can't just use the same email over and over again. You have to use a different email. It's important as email in this scenario. So because what happens is the system recognizes the email as the unique identifier. The phone number, not so much. You can use the student's phone number, but the thing is no correspondence goes to the phone number, or like the system itself, I guess, communicates with the email address, because what it does, it sends a one-time password to that email address, and then you put it in that blank box, and then you press sign up. So that's sort of this box here. It's only for this like creation of the account. Yeah. So other than that, we just deal directly with you guys, right? So it's annoying, I know. The OTP done, you can enter the application form and then just complete the application form as it is done, and then that email address really doesn't have to be used again necessarily. We think about it as well. Agencies have started doing that, like basically creating here is if they intend to hold an Australian visa. So if they don't, obviously if they that's, and it's, I know it says intend there, but it actually well, you'll see in a minute, so don't worry about that. So if they want to get a visa, yes. If they don't need a visa, press no. Undergraduate, postgraduate, research, whatever area they're looking at. Whoops, went too soon. The study period, so it can be study period 1, study period 2, etc., etc. Sydney campus, Fremantle campus, the program they're looking to study. So this time Nicholas put commerce, but it could be any course, obviously. And then you press save, and then it goes to this step 2, and it goes through all the steps here. So this is the personal details page. It's where you can add the passport here at the add attachment and enter the name of the person. This is the email. So again, Nicholas used a fake email here as well, but this is where the email address will be. The phone numbers will be there as well. Like Nicholas said, don't leave any spaces between the numbers. This is the address. So all listed there, quite simple really. The home address is the overseas address. Mailing address can be the overseas address or the Australian address if they're here. Citizenship details. So again, this is just putting that data in. Study preferences. So this is just, normally this is all fine, but should just double check on this one. Step 8 is about academic backgrounds. This is where you can upload academic transcripts. If the student has done an English test, this is where you upload it as well, etc., like that. This is the sort of the first of the GTE steps. So this just explains about the visa. Now, what will happen here is that this one here, current or intended visa subclass, it should say 500, but sometimes the system defaults to the old visas, and I can't get rid of them in the system. If, for example, it does do that, 573 is the old university visa. Just put that one down. I'm trying to get it changed, but it's some bug in the system which the IT are trying to fix, so it keeps somehow it has 500 visa there, but it also has all the other ones there, which I don't understand. Anyway, that just has to be included. And then, of course, the bottom part about dependents. So if the students come by themselves, obviously single, they come with their husband or wife or children, obviously let us know so we can issue the correct health cover and all the other stuff that come with that. Leave that box empty if there's no student visa needed, or haven't got a student visa yet, sorry, because they won't know when their start and end dates are if they don't have a visa. This is the next GT section. So this top part says a bit about why you're choosing the university. Is there a gap? What employment opportunities are available at your home country? Sort of who's going to help fund the study? Things like that. It's all quite simple. Yeah, as Nicola says here, different things like that. The sponsorship here is more about if they're going to get an outside of the university scholarship, such as a subsidy from the government or some other thing like Australia Awards or something like that. They can look for, but most of the time the Notre Dame scholarships are outside of these, so don't worry about that. This is about the health cover, if they have it or not, where they're going to live when they come to Australia, if they know, so they can put these sort of things down. If they know, they might not know this at the time. As Nicola says here, if this is left no, we will issue a quote for our university Bupa overseas health cover. So if a student doesn't have health cover, they can put no, and we can issue it for them. But if they do see our quote and think that's a bit too high, or I want to do something else, that's not a problem. Just let us know at the offer stage, and then we can reissue the offer without the health cover quote attached. This is the agency details part. So Nicola's done an example one here. So this is where you guys fill in the details so we know it's you guys. So agency details, yes, use an education agent, goes to yes. And then this next page here, I think it shows, yeah, this is put the name, the agent, the counselor's name, the email, and the phone number. So then we know who we contact, because in our system, when it comes through into our system, it gets tagged with each agency. And so then we know, okay, great, this is the agency, this is the counselor, this is who we speak with about all the applications regarding these ones. So all quite simple. And then that's it. And then basically after this step, you just press accept the declaration, like I agree to the terms and conditions, press submit, and then it comes to us and we can assess it. So that's how it works, really. We always say if there's any mistakes that have been made, or if any sort of errors, or a document wasn't uploaded, whatever like that, that's not a big problem. Just email the team, email myself, Nicola, or the admissions inbox at international@nd.edu.au, and just say, oh, made a mistake, or there's some error, I didn't upload this document, and then we'll just add it at the back end. A lot easier for us to add at the back end than it is for you guys to just delete and do a new application. So I always say if you make a mistake, not a big problem, just proceed ahead, and then we can do the editing for you once it's submitted, because it's a lot easier for us to do it that way.